Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. This one is a driving vid because I am in the middle of getting my brother, and I actually just finished watching this film, so my thoughts are pretty fresh right now. So I figured just to record it. I just haven't had lunch yet, excuse me, but I figured just while my thoughts are percolating that I might as well just spill my thoughts out right now. Keep it bite-sized, because typically these videos, type of reviews take a long time or kind of go on a bit of a ramble. So the film that we're going to be discussing today is a film called Memory, which was directed by Michael Franco, I believe his name is. Films that he's done in the past, one that I can name off the top of my head is a film named Chronic, which I believe starred Tim Roth, and very similar in its subject matter. This starring Jessica Chastain as Sylvia, who is a social worker, also a victim of certain trauma from her past, specifically that of sexual assault, and she goes to a high school reunion where she meets a guy, or at least a guy follows her home by the name of Saul, and he is played by Peter Skarsgård. And initially, Sylvia's impression of Saul is from what appears to be a very tragic, very horrific event that took place in her past, again revolving around sexual assault, and him potentially having been a part of such a thing. What is discovered is that impression was not entirely true, and she is given the opportunity to potentially help Saul, because Saul suffers from early onset dementia, meaning that he can remember things from a long ago, but in recent memory, those are things that he can't really put together. So she takes it upon himself to take care of Saul, and what follows from this is a closer connection between the two, more of an intimacy, and evolves into something of a love for each other, and in many ways is a emotional bondage, kind of a trauma type bond that is formed, and ultimately the film in and of itself being that itself about trauma, about the origins to it, sort of the present dealings of these ideas, and the framing of that, the perspective of that, specifically through Jessica Chastain, with her dilemmas, with her parents, with her daughter, who she tries very much to shield from certain things because of her own experiences with certain events, specifically when it comes to drinking, because also Sylvia herself being an alcoholic, and you also get an impression of where those events come from as well, where those sort of influences stem from. And what I really love about the film is how detail-oriented it is in the deconstruction of that trauma. It's not a film that just gives a certain label or gives a sentence here and there to kind of give us an impression of the character. I mean, it kind of hits us with quite the bombshell when Sylvia and Saul, really meet for the first time, and you see that Sylvia confronts him with certain accusations. It really is quite the bombshell. It really puts in perspective the kind of character that we're about to, really invest into, which is someone who's dealing with immense trauma, and is someone who is rather shielded from everybody. And you get that impression at the beginning of the film with the framing, the quite literal framework of the character, which is that of quite a distance, which again gives quite an impression of Sylvia's mindset. And generally speaking, what you get from the film is a really solid sense of complexity in the exploration of these themes, a very mature, very authentic representation of trauma, because what I think the film usually gets wrong about trauma is that in the titling of this film, which I think is brilliant under the context of what it's representing, in that it is about both characters, in that one is dealing with the dementia, which is the literal forgetting of things, and in the case of Jessica Chastain's character, it's about her dealing with immense trauma, and with that, sometimes with trauma itself, there is a false impression. Sometimes memory isn't so solid. You know the event, you know what took place, but sometimes some details get fuzzy over time because of how much it dawns on you on your overall mind. It's something that that is relatable, and something that is extremely truthful. So I love that the titling is not just specifically one-sided, and I love that the film is not, at first it is this very bleak sort of impression of events, but it does slowly but surely get softer in its tone and its overall presentation. It's still bleak in that it is true to life, that there are things that the character, like Jessica Chastain's character, which, by the way, performance-wise is just really, really solid by both Jessica Chastain and Peter Skarsgård. They're both really great in this, together and singularly. They are individually, they are just really, really good in this, because you get a great sense of who they are based on just their delivery, a lot of the details packaged within their characters. It's not just concerning itself with labels with the characters, like, oh, that Peter Skarsgård's dealing with dementia, so now he just has to vocalize that he forgets things, or about Jessica Chastain being a victim of certain trauma. Like, it's a lot to do with what they don't say, a lot to do with their expressions, a lot to do with just the quiet nature of those performances. It's very, very informative, and just really, really solid work, and a lot to do also with the craftsmanship that Michael Franco's bringing to the film. It being such a very quiet film, but in that a certain amount of like tension and bleakness, again, that the film is offering. It's very informative and very authentic and very, very true to its subject matter. And with it, you get something that is really rich in overall thematic quality, performances to match that. Framing of the film, I think, is really great. Again, very informative as well. Again, this distance that the camera has with its subjects, I think, is really, really telling, specifically with Jessica Chastain's character. It's just really, really well done from top to bottom. Like, it's a really well constructed and really well structured and really well performed. Just from top to bottom, just has a lot going for it, and very little for me to really complain about. Very little I could find that I didn't really like about it. So generally, just a winner in my book, and absolutely worth watching. A little bleak, perhaps at the start, a little too bleak for my taste, but ultimately, just really, really, really puts me in a comfortable spot, and it really gets me to a place to where I can really sit with these characters and feel very, very, very involved as a result. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on Memory. I really liked it. I really, really enjoyed myself with it. I thought it was very, very good stuff. Like, the moment, I'm telling you guys, the moment when Sylvia like talks to Saul for the first time and those accusations come out, like, it took me a few minutes to pull myself together. So because wow, that was a tough scene to go through. So and just tough and overall event. So but yeah, those are my thoughts on Memory, guys. Really, really good stuff. You guys let me know your thoughts on Memory if you guys have seen it. And again, sorry for the rush if I'm just kind of rushing through this. Just my brother is right there, about to pick him up. But yeah, really good stuff. Let me know your thoughts on Memory in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.